Hello, hope everybody's doing well. Let's come together united rather than divided. There's far too much controversy and killings and all the rest. It needs to stop, and it's all done by design. And people are being brainwashed into one way of thinking, and rather we need to really do come together. Okay, we need to come together in peace and love around this world, united by shoulder to shoulder, hand to hand, I get rising up against the evil that lies within our world. What I'm going to speak about is a lot of people you will know who he is, some might not. We're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, an American serial killer. Jeffrey Dahmer was born on the 21st of May 1960 and he died on the 28th of November 1994. His name was Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. He was born on the 21st of May 1960, obviously died in November 28, 1994. Also known as Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster. He was an American serial killer and ex-offender who killed and dismembered 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. Many of his later murders involved necrophilia, cannibalism. I don't know what that is. Doesn't sound very good anyway. So I'll look that up because when I don't know, I've never seen a word, I'll look it up. And the permanent preservation of body parts, typically all are part of the skeleton. He was obviously born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA, and he was 34 when he died in Wisconsin, USA. The cause of death was homicide by bludgeoning, skull and brain trauma. I thought he get put in. I thought he get the needle. I really did. I thought he did anyway. Maybe it just shows you I was wrong. Other names: the Milwaukee Cannibal, the Milwaukee Monster. Convictions for degree murder and 16 counts. Disorderly conduct 2 count. Second degree sexual assault and inciting a child for immoral purposes. Criminal penalty, life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Times 16, total of 941 years imprisonment. There were 17 victims in the spans, obviously 1978 to 1981, and obviously happened in the United Kingdom. It happened in Wisconsin, and he was apprehended in July 22nd, 1991, and obviously he was imprisoned in Columbia Correctional Institution, Portage, Wisconsin. I do apologise if I mess up some names. Although he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, schizotypical personality disorder, and a psychotic disorder, Dahmer was found to be legally sane at his trial. He was convicted of 15 of the 16 homicides he committed in Wisconsin, was sentenced to 15 terms of life imprisonment on February 17th, 1992. Dahmer was later sentenced to a 16th term of life in prison for additional homicide committed in Ohio in 1978. On November 20, on November 28, 1994, Dahmer was beaten to death by Christopher Scarver, a fellow inmate at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. See, I actually genuinely thought that he was put to death, because obviously one knew what he got the thing with, but for some reason I thought he got, but just as well I looked that up. His child, Jeffrey, child, Jeffrey was born in, obviously, as I said, the 21st, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The first of two sons to Lionel Herbert Dahmer, a Marquette University chemistry student and later a research chemist, and Joyce Annette Dahmer, nee Flynn, a teletype machine instructor. So his parents were very well educated. Lionel was of German and Welsh ancestry, and Joyce was Norwegian and Irish ancestry. Some sources report Dahmer was deprived of attention as an infant. Other sources, however, suggest that Dahmer was genuinely doted upon as an infant and toddler by both parents, although his mother was known to be tense, greedy for both attention and pity, and argumentative with her husband and her neighbours. As Dahmer entered first grade, Lionel's studies kept him away from home much of the time. When he was at home, his wife, a hypochondriac who suffered from depression, demanded constant attention and spent an increasing amount of time in bed, which means the kids weren't getting the attention they needed. On one occasion, she attempted using Quintanil. Neither parent devoted much time to their son, who later recollected that from an early age he felt unsure of the solidity of the family, recalling extreme tension and numerous arguments between his parents during his early years. See, this is what I'm saying, guys. It's like, be careful what you say and things like that. If you're feeling so depressed and all the rest of it, go to a doctor, get help. Because when you have children, you get postnatal depression, and it can lead on to further depression, like manic depression, if you're not getting the right proper help. It's okay to ask for help, guys. Really, it is okay. I've been there, guys. Please ask for the help. It's right there. Ask for it, because it means that your children are because you're not just getting help for yourself, but you're getting the proper help so that you're actually being a better parent for your children. Dahmer had been an energetic and happy child, but became notably subdued after undergoing double hernia surgery shortly before his 4th birthday. At elementary school, Dahmer was regarded as quiet and timid. One teacher recollected she detected early signs of abandonment due to his father's absence and mother's illnesses, the symptoms of which increased when she became pregnant with her second child, postnatal depression. In elementary school, Dahmer had a small number of friends. So why didn't this person know contact social work if they thought that? And or go and ask a parent, do they need help? It means that, because some parents need that wee bit of motivation to kind of do things. Let's get you a doctor. We'll do this. And in October 1966, the family moved to Doylestown, Ohio. When Joyce gave birth in December, Dahmer was allowed to choose the name of his new baby brother. he chose the name David. The same year, Lionel earned his degree and started work as an analytical chemist in nearby Akron. From an early age, Dahmer manifested an interest in dead animals. His fascination with dead animals may have begun when, at the age of 4, he saw his father removing animal bones from beneath the family home. According to Lionel Dahmer, was oddly thrilled by the sound of the bones made, and became preoccupied with animal bones, which he initially called his fiddlesticks. He occasionally researched beneath and around the family home for additional bones, and explored the bodies of live animals to discover where their bones were located. Obviously, he knew his dad was into something before, though it's there. Um, Kids are fascinated with things, with wildlife and all that. And if you don't, if you've not got that role model to teach you things, like my daughter teaches my grandson, no, she'll also teach my other grandson when he's born, about the wildlife. And I've talked about the wildlife and how to look after it, because I always say, well, you look after the wildlife looks after you, because that's what I was taught. And seemingly, there's no being. It's just it's clear he was allowed to just go do what he wanted, and that's especially at 4 years old. He didn't have 4. You have not got a clue. He'd be like, oh, what's that? It's look, because he would have been in nursery school, so he would have been fascinated with things like that. And I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just saying children that age are fascinated with everything. They pick up everything and things like that. Because I've got seven kids. I mean, they're adults now, and believe me, they did things like that as well. But they're, they're adults and they don't do stupid things like that. Which this guy did. It's like the work and things like that. So, and I'm very proud of my children. Who now I've got my daughter's got to have a second. In May 1968, the family moved to Bath Township, Somerset County, Ohio. This address was their third in 2 years and the Dahmer's sixth address since marriage. The home stood in 1.5 acres of woodland with a small hut a short walk from the house, where Dahmer began collecting large insects and the skeletons of small animals such as chipmunks and squirrels. Some of these remains were preserved in jars of formaldehyde and stored within the hut. Because obviously, if his dad's been a chemist, he's obviously an interest. I mean, because kids, they always look up to their parents, especially their dads, especially if the dads are about. And and if the dad's not been about, they're going to be, oh, anyway, so he's obviously an interest in what his dad's done. And but he's went the wrong way about it, whereas dad hasn't. I mean, 2 years later, during a chicken dinner, Dharma asked Lionel what would happen if the chicken bones were placed in bleach. Lionel, pleased by what he believed to be his son's scientific curiosity, demonstrated how to safely bleach and preserve animal bones. There you go. It was wanted to see if it was his dad, but obviously he was going on not in the route his dad thought he was going to go. Dahmer incorporated these preserving techniques into his bone collecting. He also began collecting dead animals, including roadkill, which he would dissect and bury beside the hut, with the skulls occasionally placed atop makeshift crosses. According to one friend, Dahmer explained that he was curious as to how animals fit together. One instant in 1975, Dahmer decapitated the carcass of a dog before nailing the body to a tree. Oh God, that's disgusting. And impaling the skull upon a stick in the woodland behind the house. As a prank, he later invited a friend to view the display, claiming he had discovered the remains by chance. The same year Lionel taught his son how to preserve animal bones, Joyce began increasing her daily consumption of equinol, laxative, and sleeping pills. Not very good taking laxatives. I mean, that just makes you go to the toilet. Further increasing her emotional distance for her husband and her children. They kids would have felt abandoned, and they just all they would have wanted was the love for their mum and dad, and they sort of got something for their dad, but nothing for the mother. Clearly, nothing for the mother. She should have got, and she should have received help. I get it. Back in the times, it's very hard to think about. This is now 2025. If you're feeling like that after you've had your child, please receive the help. Go to your doctor and receive something, or go to counselling, something to help you, because you don't want to go down the road taking tablets and all the rest of it. But learn how to do meditation and things like that. It's very calming for the mind. From his freshman year at Revere High School, Dahmer was seen as an outcast. Sorry, I had to think it up. By age 14, he began drinking beer and hard alcohol in the daylight hours, frequently concealing his liquor inside the jacket he wore to school. When a classmate asked why he was drinking whiskey in a morning history class, Dahmer shrugged and said, "The alcohol was my medicine." Where do you think he got that from? He got that from his mum, because if he wanted to numb out everything, because it just didn't feel wanted or loved by two people that are supposed to be his caretakers. Although largely uncommunicative, in his freshman year, Dahmer was seen by staff as polite and highly intelligent, but earned only average grades. He was a competitive tennis player and played briefly in the high school band. When he reached puberty, Dahmer discovered he was gay. He did not tell his parents in the days. If anybody was born in the 60s, I was born in the late 70s. I'm not gay or bi or anything like that, I'm straight, but I get it. I understand that it's very hard to come out. I mean, even if your parents don't, see, at least if you say to your parents, at least you've said. And it'll take them time to come round, they will, because we give birth to our children to love them. I mean, I've got my oldest daughter's bi, my youngest is bi, and one of my sons is pans. And it just bothered me, because they're my kids. At the end of the day, they're my children, and I love them no matter what. They don't go out and force it upon anybody. They are beautiful children who do well in life, and they try their best at least. Um, and that's the way it should be. Don't push your either of religion or what your sex is onto other people, because that is wrong. Be who you are. Enjoy who being you are. And it does not have you're straight, bi, gay, trans. You might be a dog, a cat, a tree. Be that, but don't impose it. Please don't impose it on other people. Please, okay? Be respectful. He did not tell his parents. In his early teens, he had a brief relationship with another teenage boy. They never had intercourse. By Dahmer's admission, he began fantasizing about dominating and controlling a completely submissive male partner in his in his early to mid-teens, and his masturbatory fantasies gradually evolved to his focus on chests and torsos. Then fantasy gradually became intertwined with dissection. When he was about 16, Dahmer conceived a fancy of rendering unconscious a particular male jogger he found attractive, and then making sexual use of his body. On one occasion, Dahmer concealed himself in bushes with a baseball bat to lie in wait for this man. However, the jogger did not pass by on that particular day. Dahmer later admitted that that was a first attempt to attack and render an individual submissive to him. He was very young when he started, um, and that is odd on what he was gone through, because he wasn't steered in the right way. He wasn't showed the love and attention. It doesn't mean that he should have done what he done. Just because people, oh, say if no got their dad around, or maybe they've not got their mum around, maybe some kids are in foster care, doesn't mean they're bad people and they go do things like this. Dahmer was known to his high school peers as a class clown who often staged pranks, which became known as doing a Dahmer. These included bleating and simulating epileptic seizures or cerebral palsy at school and local stores. Occasionally, Dahmer would perform these antics for money to purchase alcohol. By 1977, that's the year I was born, Dahmer's grades had declined. His parents hired a private tutor with limited success. The same year, in an attempt to save their marriage, his parents attended counselling session. Linking a bit late, they should have got all the help they could before that for their children and themselves. They continued to quarrel frequently. When Lionel discovered Joyce had engaged in a brief affair in September 97, they decided to divorce, telling their sons they wished to do so amicably. The process of their divorce soon became increasingly bitter, and obviously they were arguing and things. And Lionel moved out of the house in early 1978, temporarily residing in a motel in North Cleveland, Mason Road. If your relationship, either if you're just in a relationship or you're married and you've got children, part on good terms and don't argue in front of the kids. It's like, if you want to argue, wait till the kids are out or something and try and make it as calm and show the kids love at all times, because it's the kids. Remember, guys, it's the kids that feel that. In May 1978, Dahmer graduated from high school. A few weeks before his graduation, one of his teachers observed Dahmer sitting close to the school parking lot, drinking several cans of beer. When the teacher threatened to report the matter, Dahmer informed him he was experiencing a lot of problems at home and that the school's guidance counsellor was aware of them. That spring, Joyce, contrary to a court order and without informing Lionel, moved out of the family home with David to live with relatives in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Dahmer had just turned 18 and remained in the family home. So she moved out with the other kid and just left him. What a great mum. Dahmer's parents' divorce was finalised in July 24th, 1978. Joyce was awarded custody of their younger son and alimony payments. Again, he was 18, but he's still very young and needed his mum, or needed at least his dad. And he was left to do what he wanted. Murder of Stephen Hicks. What I'll do is I'll come back to this because there's so much in read, because there is a lot on Dahmer. So what I'll do is, and because that is getting on to nearly it's 25 minutes of a video, trying not, I know I've done longer videos, but I'll leave it here and I will come back to this. So I'm going to say sending love and light and good night.